Alright guys, so I think we are in good shape to write our first program in Java, and we are working in Eclipse IDE, which has been the #1 integrated development environment for Java developers since many years. And yeah, let's quickly get started. And I'm just going to go in and create a new Eclipse project. Right, I'll say a new Java project. Hit next. We are going through the wizard, and let's just call it Java starter. Right, you can call it anything, but I'll prefer using relevant names, and you can use any of the execution JRE environments. I'll use JRE 15 and hit next. And this is the source folder which contains all the Java files, and we'll just deselect the module info.java file. We don't need that, and hit finish. And it says open the Java perspective. I say yes. Okay, so you're seeing that the Java starter project has been created for us, and you're seeing the package explorer with this project for you guys. And let's just close a few tabs here, and we're going to quickly create a new class through the wizard again, and let's just call it starter. All right, and we'll need the main method. I'll just select that and hit finish. So Eclipse creates that for me, opens it for editing as well. Let me just increase the font a little for you. And this is our starter file. Okay. So let's talk about this bare bones Java class file, right? Because this is, make no doubts about it, it is quite significant. Although it is very simple, it's the most simplest Java program you'll ever come across, but holds great significance. Why? Because you're always going to have this kind of a skeleton in every Java program that you'll write, right? You're always going to have the class, you're always going to have the main method, right? So starting with the class, right? We don't need public for now. I'll discuss about that later on separately. So what is a class here? Class is a keyword, right? In Java, this is the first keyword that you're coming across, and it is used to define a new class in Java. So we'll be discussing about classes separately in a detailed manner later on. But for now, just understand that whenever you want to define a new class in Java, you have to use the keyword class, and then space, and then the identifier. I call this the identifier. An identifier in Java is anything which identifies any other thing. And here I'm using an identifier to name a new class. So what is that? I would name it. I'm calling it starter. You can call it anything else as well. Let's call it appropriately. I'll just rename it to, you hit right click on this file and go to refactor and then rename. We'll just appropriately name it to my first program in Java, or let's just put it appropriate to our first program in Java. I'll hit finish, and here you go. It has been renamed. Eclipse does that for you effortlessly, and you're seeing that. Now coming back to the identifier. So in Java, we follow the camel case terminology of naming identifiers. And they say whenever you create a class, the first letter should be in caps. And if there are more than one words forming a class name, the first letter or of every word should be in caps. That's why you're seeing O, F, P, I, and J in caps for you, right? And then that is how you define class names using camel case, guys, right? And how do you define methods using camel case? Like this. Let's say you have a method called add. It should be in all caps, all small, sorry. And if you have it of more than one words, then it should be like this. That is the first word in smalls, and then the first letter of every subsequent word in capitals, like this. See, A small, D, O, and S in caps lock. And that's how you define variables as well. If it is just made up of one word, that is just var. If it is like this, L should be in caps. How do you define constants using camel case? In all caps, like this. Right. These are all constants, right? So I'll be using camel case for defining identifiers here in Java. So you should do the same. And then I'm keeping it relevant as well. That is, I'm calling it our first program in Java because that is what it is. This is our first program in Java, guys. I can name it ABC, I can name it John or Tanveer. But why would I do that? Right? Because it doesn't make sense. But here it makes complete sense to name it our first program in Java because that is what it is. And then the class body starts and ends, and then we have something called the public static void main string array arguments, and this is the special main method in Java. So because Java is a C style language, so the main method, it's the traditional main method coming from the times of C and C++, right? But here the signature is a little longer, and that is, it is public. The main method in Java should be public, static, void and main, and it should take an argument of type string array. The only thing that you can change on line number 4 is the name of this array. I can call it ABC, right? But better is to call it ARGS, that is again readable, that is arguments. So you should always have your program written in readable code, guys. Better readability should be a focus, code quality should be a focus, right? So the specialty of the main method lies in the fact that it is the entry point of your program and it is the exit point of your program. So you would need that to be inside every Java program that you write. That's why I said it is quite significant. And then the main body starts and then the main body closes, and then you save it and you run it. Eclipse obviously is an IDE, a sophisticated integrated development environment. It has an inbuilt terminal. So I'll just run that. It will just run it right here for you. See, I'll just hit run. You can check the console. I don't have a println statement. That's why I did not get anything on the console, right? So you can go on and open up the console, going to window, show view and console. See, it's black, just the cursor blinking because I did not put in a println statement. And how do you do that? In C, you do it through printf. In C++, cout. In Java, you do it through system.out.println, short for print line. And in Eclipse, we have a shortcut for doing that. I just say sysout, that is sysout. Hit control space and off you go. Just a sec. Yeah. And then in a pair of double quotes, I'll say we're just getting started with Java. Right. I'll hit save and I'll hit run again. You're seeing that on your console. We're just getting started with Java, guys. Just the first println statement that I printed out for you. And you're seeing that on the console, right? So that is our first program in Java. I'll see you guys in the next video.